So we left off on culture, correct? Did we watch any of the videos? So did we watch this video? No?
Everyone, please be quiet. Alan? Thank you. Alan.
Good job. Good job, Guardians. Y'all are awesome. Okay. So I believe we left off on culture. So culture actually influences our perception so much because it's our society telling us how to think, basically. So that is why culture is really important to take into account when we are talking about perception, because it's going to change your perception of things. For example, this video is going to be talking about color. Now, red is red, right? Yellow is yellow. Green is green, right? Yeah? Can y'all agree? Well, people in other countries would disagree with you, okay? Because their colors are different. So, for example, I'm not going to play this whole entire video, but I'm going to play just like the first
blue,
couple minutes.
Or at least traditionally in Japanese it is. Although in modern Japanese there are two terms for blue and green. The two colors are so often considered two shades of a single color, which leads to some...
So this guy speaks really fast, so I'm going to slow it down for you. So in Japan, their green is blue. So all of these colors that you see on the spectrum, they consider that blue. And they just say blue the whole entire time. Yes.
Weird things like this traffic light graphic depicting the go light as blue.
So they have traffic lights pictures, and their green light is blue. But their green light is green. Does that make sense? No. Okay. So in this nice little depiction of a stoplight, they color the green light blue because it's the same in their heads. It's the same in their cultures. It's just different shades of blue to them. Okay? But their green lights, we would look at them and we would be like, that's green. But they think it's blue. Okay? Interesting.
Even though Japanese traffic lights are the same as everywhere else, growing up in the English-speaking world, it's easy to pass this off as incorrect. Colors are colors. Pink, red, purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, brown, black, and white. Simple. Except, maybe not. In Zulu and Swana, blue and green are also referred to as a single color. And in classical Arabic poetry, the sky is alluded to with both the green one and the blue one. Some cultures even group green in with yellow, and others consider black, blue, and brown a single color. Brown isn't really even a color. Well, in English it is, but in reality in other languages, it's just some dark shades of red and orange. Pink, too, is not a real color, which is why in Russian there's no separate word for it, and why it's referred to as powder red in some Chinese languages.
So, like, in Russia or in some Chinese languages, they don't even have a color called pink. They just refer to it as red.
So what about the brand?
Or, for example, with them, they call it powder red.
So blue is green. Pink is red.
Pink is red.
And green is also green.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Questions, Sean?
Would blue, since in Japan, blue is green, green is blue, does that mean green is would be dark blue or light blue to them?
I think it would probably be a light blue to them. Yeah. Strange, right? Super weird. Okay, that's all I'm going to show you on that. If y'all wanted to watch the full video, you can go back to the notes.
We're seeing the same thing.
Yeah, you're seeing the same thing. They just call it something else.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So they know that green is green, but they just call it blue. So culture changes your perception. So if you were to talk with somebody whose culture is a Japanese culture, and you're like, oh, that board over there, that's blue. Okay?
The wall is blue.
Or let me use a better one than that. These little pom-poms up here, they're blue. Or these little green ones, they're blue. Or they're green. They'll be like, no, that's blue. Man, I'm confusing myself. But just like he said, we're gonna rub it off as like you're incorrect, because in our culture it's this. So you got to be able to identify that different cultures. Yeah, they're gonna be confused. They're gonna be confused just like we're confused about how they talk about colors. All right. So here's another perception that we're going to look at. Now, this is a girl version. I'm going to give you a guy version after this because I believe in gender equality. So we're also going to talk about guys and the perceptions that society has on them as well. But That's because we're more sensitive. So here's the video. Make sure you're listening.
Hi, Erin. Hi. Okay, so I'm gonna just give you some actions to do and just do the first thing that comes to mind. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Here. Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aww. My name is Dakota and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No, I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
Is like a girl a good thing?
Actually, I don't know what it really, if it's a bad thing or a good thing. Sounds like a bad thing. Sounds like you're trying to humiliate someone.
So when they're in that vulnerable time between 10 and 12, how do you think it affects them when somebody uses like a girl as an insult?
I think it definitely drops their self-confidence and really puts them down because during that time, they're already trying to figure themselves out. And when somebody says you hit like a girl, it's like, well, what does that mean? Because they think they're a strong person. It's kind of like telling them that they're weak and they're not as good as them.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna stop there. So here's where that culture comes into play. Okay, we have been living in a society where like doing things like a girl is an insult because like I don't want to throw like a girl and I don't want to run like a girl, and if anybody thinks that I do throw or run like a girl, I'm insulted by it.
May I say?
But here we go. So are y'all listening? So let's look at the little girls, okay? So when the little girls were asked, okay, run like a girl, throw like a girl, fight like a girl, they actually did it the way that they thought was right. The reason for that, the reason why they were able to do it those ways is because culture hasn't set its claws into them yet. So society hasn't tricked them into thinking that these things are like, that's not how you throw like a girl, right? So they haven't been tricked by society yet. They haven't been morphed and by society and culture. So it's the same thing with guys. So let me give an example of you gentlemen because y'all have some gender biases against you as well. Okay. Let's say in our society, how would we view a stay-at-home dad?
Either homosexual or like unemployed,
A bum, unemployed, homosexual, okay, not like weak. There's a whole bunch of bad words that might be said about them as well, right? Okay, so guys are under just as much pressure from society and from culture to a point where we perceive them in that specific way. So that's why guys might be a little bit absent out of their children's lives because they think that's the right thing to do. That they perceive that that's how society is what society expects of you. Okay, so we have to take that into account. Y'all be quiet, please. We do have to take our cultural differences into account because in some cultures, the dad is the one that stays at home and he's actually a stronger man for it. Okay. Moving on. So the next thing that is on your notes, I think this is 4, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So 4 is present feelings. So your attitude and your mood is going to change your perception. For example, I'm having a really bad day and somebody comes up to me and makes a really sarcastic joke to me. And am I going to take that seriously and get offended?
Yes.
Yes, I am, because my attitude is going to perceive that in a negative way. because I'm angry, so this person's being sarcastic, which is going to make me more angry. Now, if I was in a happy mood and somebody was being sarcastic with me, I would laugh and I'd be like, haha, that's so funny. Okay? So your attitude affects these things as well. Did y'all get it? Y'all got it written down? So we are next going to talk about the steps in the perception process.
Are there gonna be more videos?
We have this nice long video. So I'm going to show you this gentleman. He is going to talk to you about paying attention, but he's actually a pickpocket.
This dude's so good.
Yeah, he's great. So he's actually a pickpocket, but I want you to like do what he says. So in the beginning of this video, he's going to tell you to close your eyes, and I want you to do what he says. Can y'all do that for me? Okay. He'll tell you to open your eyes, but don't open your eyes until he tells you to.
Do you think it's possible to control someone's attention? Even more than that, what about predicting human behavior? I think those are interesting ideas if you could. I mean, for me, that'd be the perfect superpower. Actually, kind of an evil way of approaching it. But for myself, in the past, I've spent the last 20 years studying human behavior from a rather unorthodox way, picking pockets. When we think of misdirection, we think of something as looking off to the side, when actually it's often the things that are right in front of us that are hardest things to see, the things that you look at every day that you're blinded to. For example, how many of you still have your cell phones on you right now? Great. Double check, make sure you still have them on you. I was doing some shopping beforehand. Now, you've looked at them probably a few times today, but I'm gonna ask you a question about it. Without looking at your cell phone directly yet, can you remember the icon in the bottom right corner? Bring them out, check, and see how accurate you were. How'd you do? Show of hands, did we get it? Now that you're done looking at those, close them down, because every phone has something in common. No matter how you organize the icons, you still have a clock on the front. So without looking at your phone, what time was it? You just looked at your clock, right? It's an interesting idea. Now I'll ask you to take that a step further with a game of trust. Close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
I realize I'm asking you to do that while you just heard there's a pickpocket in the room, but close your eyes. Now, you've been watching me for about 30 seconds. With your eyes closed, what am I wearing? Make your best guess. What color is my shirt? What color is my tie? Now open your eyes. By showing hands, were you right? It's interesting, isn't it? Some of us are a little bit more perceptive than others. It seems that way, but I have a different theory about that model of attention. They have fancy models of attention, Posner's trendy model of attention. For me, I like to think of it very simple, like a surveillance system. It's kind of like you have all these fancy sensories, and inside your brain is a little security guard. For me, I like to call him Frank. So Frank is sitting at a desk. He's got all sorts of cool information in front of him, high-tech equipment. He's got cameras. He's got a little phone that he can pick up, listen to the ears, all these senses, all these perceptions. But attention is what steers your perceptions. It's what controls your reality. It's the gateway to the mind. If you don't attend to something, you can't be aware of it. But ironically, you can attend to something without being aware of it. That's why there's the cocktail effect. When you're in a party, you're having conversations with someone, and yet you can recognize your name and you didn't even realize you were listening to that. Now, for my job, I have to play with techniques to exploit this, to play with your attention as a limited resource. So if I could control how you spend your attention, if I could maybe steal your attention through a distraction. Now, instead of doing it like misdirection and throwing off to the side, instead what I choose to focus on is Frank, to be able to play with the Frank inside your head, your little security guard, and get you, instead of focusing on your external senses, just to go internal for a second. So if I ask you to access a memory, like, what is that? What just happened? Do you have a wallet? Do you have an American Express in your wallet? And when I do that, your Frank turns around. He accesses the file. He has to rewind the tape. And what's interesting is he can't rewind the tape at the same time that he's trying to process new data. I mean, this sounds like a good theory, but I could talk for a long time and tell you lots of things, and they may be true, a portion of them. But I think it's better if I try to show that to you here live. So if I come down, I'm going to do a little bit of shopping. Just hold still where you are. Hello, how are you? It's lovely to see you. You did a wonderful job on stage. You have a lovely watch that doesn't come off very well. Do you have your ring as well? Good, just taking inventory. You're like a buffet. It's hard to tell where to start. There's so many great things. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Hi, sir, could you stand up for me, please? Just right where you are. You're married, you follow the directions well. That's nice to meet you, sir. You don't have a whole lot inside your pockets. Anything down by the pocket over here? Hopefully so. Have a seat. There you go. You're doing well. Hi, sir, how are you? Good to see you, sir. You have a ring, a watch. Do you have a wallet on you? Well, we'll find one for you. Come on up this way, Joe. Give Joe a round of applause. Come on up, Joe. Let's play a game. Pardon me. Don't think I need this clicker anymore. You can have that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Come on up to the stage, Joe. Let's play a little game. Now, do you have anything in your front pockets? Money. All right, let's try that. Can you stand right over this way for me? Turn around and let's see. If I give you something that belongs to me, this is just something, a half poker chip. Hold out your hand for me. Watch it kind of close. Now, this is a task for you to focus on. Now, you have your money in your front pocket here? Good. I'm not going to actually put my hand in your pocket. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment. One time a guy had a hole in his pocket, and that was rather traumatizing. I was looking for his wallet, and he gave me his phone number. It was a big miscommunication. So let's do this simply. Squeeze your hand. Squeeze it tight. Do you feel the poker chip in your hand? Would you be surprised if I could take it out of your hand? Say yes? Good. Open your hand. Thank you very much. I'll cheat if you give me a chance. Make it harder for me. Just use your hand. Grab my wrist, but squeeze. Squeeze firm. Did you see it go? No, it's not here. Open your hand. See, while we're focused on the hand, it's sitting on your shoulder right now. Go ahead and take it off. Now, let's try that again. Hold your hand out flat. Open it up all the way. Put your hand up a little bit higher, but watch it close there, Joe. See, if I did it slowly, it'd be back on your shoulder. Joe, we're going to keep doing this till you catch it. You're going to get it eventually. I have faith in you. Squeeze firm. Squeeze. You're human. You're not slow. It's back on your shoulder. You're focused on your hand. That's why you were distracted. While you were watching this, I couldn't quite get your watch off. It was difficult. Yet you had something inside your front pocket. Do you remember what it was? Check your pocket. See if it's still there. Is it still there? Oh, that's where it was. Go ahead and put it away. We're just shopping. This trick's more about the timing, really. I'm going to try to push it inside your hand. Put your other hand on top for me, would you? It's amazingly obvious now, isn't it? It looks a lot like the watch I was wearing, doesn't it? Oh, thanks. But it's only a start. Let's try it again a little bit differently. Hold your hands together. Put your other hand on top. Now, if you're watching this little token, this obviously has become a little target. It's like a red herring. If we watch this kind of close, it looks like it goes away. It's not back on your shoulder. It falls out of the air, lands right back in the hand. Did you see it go? That's funny. Got a little guy, he's union. He works up there all day. If I did it slowly, if it goes straight away, it lands down by your pocket. I believe, is it in this pocket, sir? No, don't reach in your pocket. That's a different show. Sorry, that's rather strange. They have shots for that. And can I show them what that is? That's rather bizarre. Is this yours, sir? I have no idea how that works. We'll just send that over there. That's great. I need help with this one. Step over this way for me. Now, don't run away. You had something down by your pants pocket. I was checking mine. I couldn't find everything. But I noticed you had something here. Feel the outside of your pocket for a moment. Down here, I noticed this. Is this something of yours, sir? Is this? I had no idea. That's a shrimp.
Yeah, saving it for later.
You've entertained all these people in a wonderful way. Better than you know. So we'd love to give you this lovely watch as a gift. Hopefully it matches his taste. But also we have a couple of other things, a little bit of cash. And then we have a few other things. These all belong to you, along with a big round of applause from all your friends. Joe, thank you very much. So same question I asked you before, but this time you don't have to close your eyes. What am I wearing? Attention is a powerful thing. Like I said, it shapes your reality. So I guess I'd like to pose that question to you. If you could control somebody's attention, what would you do with it? Thank you.
I didn't see him change.
No.
When he gave the clicker back, he took that other kid off. He had that one on under.
So
Could have taken off
the whole point of this was because, okay, attention to detail is great. But if you're paying so much attention to detail, you're missing all the other things that are happening around you. Okay. And your reality changes because now that you're having that tunnel vision, your whole entire reality changes. And once you take away the tunnel vision, you're like, whoa, I just missed out on a whole bunch of different things that I didn't even realize I missed out on. Okay. It is stupid. All right. So next we're going to talk about the steps of our perception process. The very first step is going to be select sensory cues. So we only noticed some of the sensory information that we receive. So your eyes are going to be drawn. It's that tunnel vision again. They're going to be drawn to certain things and you're going to miss other things completely, or it might take you a second to realize that they're there. So I'll give you a minute to write these answers down on your notes. So you're writing down select sensory cues and the word some in your notes. Do you all have it down? Okay. So once y'all have it down, I'm going to change the slide. When I change the slide, I don't want you to say this out loud, but I want you to really pay attention to what you see first. Some of you may see two different things. Okay. So here we go. Are you ready? Don't say it out loud. Just look at it. Raise your hand if you saw the white vase first. Raise your hand if you saw the two black faces first. Raise your hand if you had to have me tell you that there's two pictures in that in order to see both of them. But you can see both now, correct? All right.
If you blur your vision, it's easier to see the white, but if you look at it normally, it's easier to see the black.
Yeah, for me, it's easier to see the black, and it takes me a second to see the white vase. But the white vase is there. So here's another one. We're going to do the same exact thing, but with a different picture. And it's a little bit more tougher, so I'll give you a little bit extra time.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a popular picture, so you might have already seen this. So raise your hand if you saw the young woman first. Raise your hand if you saw the old woman first.
What?
Raise your hand if you don't see a woman at all. Okay. So here's where the young woman's at. If you don't understand, you see her hair. This is her ear. This is her jawline. She's looking in the opposite direction. You see her, and then she's got a little necklace down here. Okay, and we go down to her dress. Okay. The old lady, the jawline is the nose. So here's her nose. Here's her eye. She's got a mouth right here, and then her chin kind of goes down.
I still don't see it. Yeah, I don't see the old lady. No, I see it.
You see it now?
Yeah, I see it.
And I believe she has a little wart on her nose. I don't know.
She looks deformed now.
Okay. So
I like the young lady
again,
a lot.
those little sensory cues, you have to look for them in your eyes. In my mind, okay, my eyes immediately get drawn to the black images. So I'm looking at the black images. So I will see the young woman first.
Have you seen the newer one going around where people are seeing if you can tell if it's a dog or a clown face?
Oh, I haven't seen that, no.
I see the clown.
So here's another one. Now, in order for this to work, are y'all listening? In order for this to work, make sure that you're not talking during this video at all, okay? Do not talk. You are focusing on counting. You got it? So you should only but count inside your head because you want to see if you actually got the right number or not. And you don't want to let anybody know if you're right, okay? So it's almost like a competition. Who can get the correct number? So here we go. No talking at all.
This is a test of selective attention. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the basketball.
So you're counting how many times the players wearing white pass the basketball.
How many passes did you count? The correct answer is 15 minutes.
Now, wait, there's more.
Did you see the correct?
All right. So there's a gorilla. How many of y'all didn't see the gorilla? Did everybody see it? It was a little obvious, but there are
This video is from
some
Search
people
by
who may
Daniel
not want
Simon.
to say it out loud who didn't even notice it. Now, here's the trick with that. Okay, the trick with that is we are only focusing on the white t-shirt. So your brain is automatically going to turn off anything that's black because we're not looking for black, we're looking for white, right? So your brain's going to turn that off. And that way, when the gorilla actually walks through, you're not even looking for it because you're just trying to pay attention. So if you got the number correct, you probably didn't see the gorilla. Now, if you did see the gorilla, you probably lost count. Okay, hold on, I'm getting there. If you did see the gorilla, you probably lost count and your number was wrong. If you got the number right and you saw the gorilla, that just means that you have really good perception.
I'm so good at seeing perception.
Okay, so there's another video out there. I might show it to y'all one day to see if you can catch it, but there's another video out there that I'll show you that's a lot harder than that one. So number 2 or step 2 is organizing our selected cues. So we are always going to place our sensory cues from step 1 that we notice into a familiar pattern in order to recognize what we are sensing. So I'm going to show you a series of pictures, and we're just gonna kind of talk about them and tell us like what we actually see, what kind of patterns we might see. Are y'all ready? And just a heads up, I might be teaching to the bell today because I want to make sure y'all get your notes done because all my other classes did. Are we ready now? Okay, so we're going to look at A. What do you see on A? Triangle over some black circles. Somebody is over there saying Pac-Man. You're seeing the Pac-Man over there? Okay, what about B? You're seeing a, yes, what is it, a white rectangle? Over what?
Over a black X.
S's, okay. I see like, I don't know, commas or like quotation marks. Okay. What about C?
A circle with spikes on it.
Circle with spikes on it. So like kind of like a spike ball. Somebody said corona earlier. That's funny. Coronavirus. Okay. D, what do we see on D? Snake going through the ground.
Yeah, it's like a sea monster.
I could also argue that this is a man underwater. I don't know. You see his hand and his arms?
Whoa, I see it. Go!
He's going, ah! All right. So, reading down at the bottom, we have perception of an object as having more spatial information than is actually present. So, here's something interesting. Do you remember yesterday when we looked at those dots and we were trying to figure out what dots were the same color? It's the same situation here. The background is white, but for some strange reason, you're seeing white shapes that aren't even there.
Yeah, like.
You're seeing a white triangle.
They didn't put a white.
It's just black images on a white background.
And then it kind of forms out the shape in your brain that is a triangle. I don't like that.
Okay, so these little shapes that you're seeing aren't really there. It's just a black image over a white background. The reason why we're doing that is because we're trying to fill in that spatial information. We don't like that these things aren't together. So we're putting in things that don't exist.
I'm trying to like put it together in my mind that it's a black circle with like a white end around it.
Yeah, it's Pac-Man.
But I'm still seeing it.
You can't unsee it once you see it either.
Well, I've unseen it twice now.
Yeah.
If you focus on like the middle, it starts kind of fading away.
Yeah.
Dude, what the? When I focus on the middle, I'll just-
So it's real interesting. So perception can be easily altered.
I feel like turn my head.
So step number 3 is interpreting these cues. Okay, so we just got a whole bunch of patterns laid out before us. Okay, And now we want to give a name to those recognized perceptual patterns in order to understand what we are sensing, what we're looking at. So for example, when we're looking at those pictures, y'all started naming them. You started saying, okay, that's Pac-Man, that's a triangle, that's a square, that's a snake. Okay, you started naming things in order to understand what it is that you're actually looking at. Okay, so just like in those pictures before, some of you probably didn't even see a woman at all in either one of those pictures. And you didn't see them until I literally said, hey, that's an old woman and this is a young woman. So now you're looking and you're trying to give a name to that picture so you can understand what you're looking at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we got 12 minutes.
Yep. We're gonna rush through. So here's a life lesson for you. I'm about to make this real deep. Okay? We have two gentlemen here. They are perceiving, they're looking at the same thing, but they're perceiving it in a different way. Is either one of them wrong?
No.
They aren't wrong, right? Because the way they perceive it, it's different from the other person. However, do you think these two gentlemen are going to argue over who's right?
Yes.
Yes. And here's where I'm going to get real philosophical on you. Okay? Our society today are these two gentlemen. We are looking at something that is the exact same thing, but we are perceiving it in a different way. And we are starting to argue with each other because we cannot see from the point of view of the other person. Okay? I'm talking about a lot of things that people disagree on today. Yes. All right. So here in society, we are so focused on our own perceptions that it's hard for us to see other people's perceptions, which causes us to disagree, which causes us to hate each other. Okay? You have to be open to other people's perception. All right. Can you see the animal? If you can see it, don't point it out.
Give me a minute.
Can you see it?
It's the predator.
Where's the predator at? Now, I'm not meaning like predator as an alien predator. I'm just meaning like there's an animal in there.
Can you give me like the area where it is?
I sure can. Here you go.
What? Oh, you go back. I still can't see it.
I've been looking at too much
Do you
stuff.
see it?
No.
There's little eyeballs right there. I'll go back. Here we go. You're looking in this little area.
I still can't see it.
I see it now.
Go closer. You can't see it. Go closer.
Yeah, I'll get it right up in there.
There's your eyeballs.
All up in there. All there. Whatever the school fed y'all is not good. Eyes are out here.
I'm up in
You don't see those eyes? It's a panther. You're looking at a panther. Okay? The big black cat.
Don't come here, Black Panther.
All right. Y'all find it? Do you see it? It's right there. All right. So again, we have to pick out these patterns and we have to assign meaning, a name to the meaning and everything else. So let's talk about self-fulfilling prophecy. I want you. Call you back in 3. Call you back in 2. Call you back in 1. So here's something that I really want to talk to y'all about because you're living through this right now. Some of you especially. Okay? Self-fulfilling prophecy is believing something is true, making it come true when it's not. So what that means is you are basically, let's take an example of a student, okay? This student, their whole life from kindergarten up until 9th grade has been told, you're bad. You're bad, you're bad, you're bad. You're always getting in trouble. You're a bad student. You're just bad. So what that student, according to the self-fulfilling prophecy, is going to do, they're going to start believing that they're bad.
They're gonna start doing bad things.
And they're going to start doing bad things.
I did that in 7th grade.
And they are going to fulfill this prophecy. Now, some of you, listen, some of you might already be living this and you might have just had your head explode because you're like, whoa, that's totally me. Okay? It could be something different. It doesn't have to be bad. Maybe somebody keeps telling you that you're stupid. You're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid. So you start believing that you're stupid
I'm goated at basketball.
and your grades start plummeting. Okay? This is called that self-fulfilling prophecy. I have an example of my cousin. My cousin, since he was 5 years old, was always told by his dad that he was going to be a pothead. Okay? He's going to be a pothead. He's going to be smoking the reefer. He's been telling him this. He's been telling his son this since he was 5 years old. He's also been telling his son that he's going to. He's also been telling his son that he's going to end up in jail one day. He's like, you're going to end up in jail one day if you keep acting like that. You're going to end up in jail. So, according to this self-fulfilling prophecy, what do you think happened to my cousin?
He was in the game.
He is a pothead and he is in jail.
Right now? Well.
Yeah.
Michael, this is my
How did he do?
No. Okay, so self-fulfilling prophecy. Here's what I want to tell y'all though. You can break this. So you can break this prophecy. You can keep it from happening. You have to have a certain personality type though in order to be able to break it. The personality type is the I'm going to prove you wrong personality.
Yeah.
So if you got that I'm going to prove you wrong, then this won't happen. So don't pack up. I did warn y'all that I was going to teach to the end of the bell.
Yeah.
So y'all keep going. We're going to finish our notes. But I can't talk while everybody's talking over me. So like if I have to keep you after the bell, I will. All right. So first impressions are important, but they can be wrong. So if you're having a really, really bad day and you wake up late, you don't have time to brush your teeth, brush your hair, you barely have time to change your clothes, so you look all disheveled, and it's the first time I'm meeting you, my first impression might be that you're a slob. Is that necessarily right? No, because you just had a bad day and you woke up late. That doesn't mean that you're always going to look that way. So here's the trick with first impressions, though. Listen, and this is why some of y'all probably had a bad relationship with a certain teacher, okay? A first impression, whether it's good or bad, cannot be changed until you have had 20 to 30 encounters with that person. So if you have a bad first impression with somebody, it's going to take you, let's say a teacher, because you'll only see a teacher once a day for a month, okay? You have a bad first impression with a teacher. Gentlemen, I'm speaking. Listen. You have a bad first impression with a teacher. It's going to take you 20 to 30 days to make them change their mind about you. Now, here's the catch, though. It has to be good encounters for 20 to 30 consecutive days.
That's intense.
So you can't mess up. As soon as you mess up, what are they going to go right back to?
That you're a bad person.
Their first impression of you. So you got to be careful with those first impressions. All right, here's another life lesson for you. Jeez, I'm going to be rushing through this. Closure. We want closure in life. When something bad happens, we want to be able to have that closure. We want to fill in what's not there. So as like personalities, we want to make sure, like if I break up with somebody, okay, or somebody breaks up with me, I want to know exactly what I did wrong and why they did that so I can have closure in that relationship. Okay? It's the same thing, like your brain automatically wants closure. So if you look at this nice little picture, y'all, I have to rush through this. If y'all look at this nice little picture, your brain is already wanting closure, so it's going to start forming those gray dots in between those squares.
I don't see that word, dog. Y'all are capping.
Yeah, I don't know if you're seeing it.
Okay, it's normally on the corners, like right there.
Yeah, I'm not. There's gonna be blue and white.
Okay, so if you don't see them, it's fine. I just guess you don't like closure. Proximity is when, okay, you can't fall in love with somebody if you've never met them. Okay, so you have to be close in order to know somebody.
That's why long distance relationships don't work.
Normally is. Also with proximity, the more you encounter something, the more you're likely you are to like it.
Oh my gosh, I have heard that so
Yeah.
much.
The last one is the fundamental attribution error, when we attribute positive explanations for our behavior and less positive explanations for the behavior of others. This is like when I get, let's say I'm going to use Bryson as an example. Okay. Let's say I get on to Bryson all the time because he's not doing something right. Okay. Bryson is automatically going to defend himself and be like, Miss, I was acting this way because this person right here was doing something. Okay. This is the fundamental attribution error. He's trying to attribute positive explanations for his behavior, but also attribute less positive explanations of the behavior of others.
Are we turning these notes in?
You will turn these notes in. I'll have time tomorrow during class where we turn it in together if you need to, but if you already know how to do it now. Thank you very much for listening about perception. We're going to do some activities tomorrow. So virtual kiddos, y'all are good to go. Bye.
You didn't wipe down the table?